The Verbier Ride's been around for 7 years now, and it's quite a recognised free skiing event. It started in 2000, where we had a big mountain freeride event in Verbier. The event developed over the years to add a ski across and freestyle element into it as well.
The Verbier Ride competition is a really good competition. It's cool, like people get together from all over, there's a whole load of nationalities.
Yeah, it's pretty friendly, it's without pressure and stuff like that, so it's really cool just to ski with friends, and I really like that way of thinking, you know, it's really cool, it's different, and that's much more close to the definition of free skiing than pressure and stuff like that.
What's happened over the last couple of years is the big mountain section of the Verbier Ride has developed to the point where the demand was such that it really needed to break away and form its own event. What that has meant is that we as sponsors and the organisers themselves have been able to concentrate much more on the freestyle aspects of the event.
It's a big air competition and a rail jam, so it encompasses two different aspects of freestyle. The big air competition is based in the Le Chaux snow park in Verbier, and it's now the main focus for the Verbier Ride.
The big air discipline in general basically involves around the style and the skill and the tricks that a rider can put together while in the air. What the judges are really looking for is smoothness, control, technical complexity in their jumps, and really an overall kind of scene of whether they're kind of trying to progress the sport in general.
The rail jam competition in skiing is a very, very technical discipline, and I think, you know, a lot of people watching it on the outside, they look at it and see some, you know, crazy kids just sliding on the rail. But when you look deeper into it, it's really quite a technical discipline to make, you know, and to be balanced and to grind on a rail is a very, very difficult manoeuvre. The resort of Verbier, I mean, you couldn't think of a better place to hang out as an athlete. If you're a lot of the athletes that come over to the Verbier Ride, they actually look forward to coming here. Like last year with the big mountain freeride event, so many of the Americans enjoyed the ambience in Verbier. It's definitely one of the best resorts in terms of the nightlife, the partying, and everything a freestyle ski athlete wants to get up to. You'll find it in Verbier.
Just when you finish skiing, you just go drink your beer and finish at 10 o'clock. If you want, you can be already drunk.
It's maybe my third time here in Verbier. I really like the resort, I definitely love the landscape here. I really like it, you know, could live there.
It's a perfect little terrain area. There's a lot of natural rollers, natural features, and it's got some great kickers, but it's not just a snow park for elite athletes. It's a snow park that has got typical green runs, blue runs, red runs and black runs, so there's different levels of challenge.
There's heaps of little knolls and stuff that you can jump and build jumps on, so I really like it.
The park's got everything, I think. It's got a big air kicker, it's got small stuff for the beginners, it's got good rails for people who like their rails, and yeah, so they've done well this year.
The park in Verbier, it's got a lot of sort of like rollers, like the natural terrain. It's almost got the jumps already there for you.
You can build kicker by yourself everywhere. There is so many landings to use.
Rails essentially have come from, originally from skateboarding, and then from skateboarding to snowboarding, and from snowboarding they've now come into the ski scene. It's basically it's almost an urban discipline rather than a mountain discipline. It's just when a skier jumps on a rail and he'll slide down it, and you can do a number of tricks either on the rail or onto the rail. Like you can spin onto a rail or spin off a rail. And also when you're on a rail, there are sort of things you can do, like you can do what's called a switch up, which is when you change, if you're going down in one direction, you do a 180 and change the direction which you're going down the rail. Essentially, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, and as you'll probably see from the footage, it's just the riders doing what they can on the different rails that we have here.
You have lots of possibilities. You can do 4/5s in or 2/7 out. And there's a little gap to rail even. It could be really lots of possibilities.
Rail jam is essentially when the riders go down and hit a number of rails, and they will be judged on their overall run. This year at the Verbier Ride we've got 3 obstacles, and they're all rails. The first one is a kink rail, which is a flat bit of rail followed by a down bit of rail. And then the second one is a down street rail. It's just a straight down rail, but it has what's called a street setup kicker, which is when the riders will be coming on from the side rather than jumping from behind the rail onto it. They'll be coming onto the side of it. And then the final rail is a down, flat down.
Disasters when you gap the first part of the rail, so you land it part way down. We've got sort of 270 out, it's the same thing, spinning out. 450 is just a bigger rotation. Lip slide, if you're getting onto the rail from the side. There's loads of ways that you can mix it up on the rails and incorporate different tricks to make it more hard or more technical.
The Verbier Ride Rail Jam this year, we took the competitive field and we gave them all 2 runs, and the best of the 2 runs counted, and from that we took the 11 best riders, and they again had 2 runs, and then their best run counted, and we took the top 4 from that, and they then went into a head-to-head knockout, which is essentially where they each get 3 runs and they go against each other. The first one will go down and have a run, and then the second one will come straight after, and the judges just immediately on those 2 runs say who won that round. And then in the final we had a knockout again with people going head to head.
The top 3 riders this year really raised it up another level. It was great to see Russ Henshaw, fellow Australian, come first, but then there were also some fantastic local riders like Alex Neurohr and Ivan Matraye who really kicked it up.
It was really good this year. In the finals we had some top riders, and it was really quite difficult to distinguish between them. But in the end, Russ Henshaw won out, and he's been consistent the whole way through the day.
You know, his riding was such a, it was so advanced on what we'd already seen.
On the top rail I was doing switch 270 on, and then on the down bar I was doing 270 on, and then I was gapping on the down flat down, and then in the second run I was doing 450s.
On every rail he was doing something quite technical, and like I say, his style was impeccable, so I think he had to win really.
Second place was Ivan Matraye. He again was riding really smooth. It was more, Ivan's style. His style was just really, really steezy, really smooth.
His run was, very technical and very styled like Russ's. But on the top, Russ did that extra 270 spin onto the kink, so he had to take it for the technical difficulty there.
Third place went to the local rider Alex Noura, which was a great result. You know, to get Verbier, Verbier putting their time and effort into these guys is great. But that was a real reward to see Alex Noura come through and take third place.
One of the great things about this event is really start to incorporate the local guys and watch them really compete on an international level.
In the women's competition, again it was a really high level of riding. Beanie Milne-Home, she took first place, and she's a British rider who's done a lot of time in New Zealand over the last couple of years and is really up to level.
Yeah, really nice. The other girls are cool. It's a really chilled atmosphere and kind of stoked for each other. So yeah, sweet, good day.
I think she hit every rail, which I think she was pretty much the only girl to do that, and actually clean each rail. She disastered the top one, went straight down on the down, and then disastered the down flat down.
Second place was the Swiss rider Marie Charlotte Bagnon. She again is riding stronger. We saw her in Sassfay for the Sassfay ride, and her level looks like it's up already since then.
It was really fun, and that was cool. That was a great day.
Third place was Audrey Favre. She rode well. I mean, she's better than what she did on that competition because she didn't ride to her best ability, but she still came in third, which is, you know, it's a really respectable result.
I think there's been a lot of improvement in the girls' scene this year.
We're slowly introducing the freestyle element into the Verbier Ride to build it over the next 3 years to try and to become one of Europe's top freestyle events. But this year we seem to jump straight in at the deep end. There was such a high level of riding.
Some of the competitors out there were doing some really progressive jumps, and it was great to see some of the girls kick it up a notch too, with Beanie doing her first ever disaster on the down flat down, which was fantastic.
Big air is essentially jumping, but it's not to be confused with freestyle, which is the thing they have at the Olympics. This is much more like the snowboarding big air that people know about. They're hitting what's called a tabletop kicker, which is essentially a jump, and then you have a flat area and then a landing. And they'll be doing rotations very similar to snowboarders, corks and rodeos, misties.
For the competition, we've got one of the best shapers. Nico Mardu is a guy that has shaped a lot of World Cup ski across courses. He's shaped many of the world's biggest freestyle events, and he's definitely one of the best guys there in the world at the moment.
The bigger kicker this year, we managed to make a good landing, even if we had not so much snow. So then the kicker, we were able to make a nice, good, big but easy air.
From here, the bigger is really different. You know, it's scary from here.
It was about 18-19 meters long, but really easy to clear.
Nico Mardu was the shaper this year, and he did a really good job. It was quite amazing to see him sort of construct this kicker. Basically, we ended up getting a lot of almost sort of door frames and creating a kind of square shape out of these door frames with which he would just literally push all the snow in, and we were shoveling it in after. The end result, after it set overnight, was just a perfect kicker. I don't think any of the riders had any complaints, which is actually quite unusual for any comp because you normally have at least one person who's got a problem with it.
This year we had an 18-meter table, which was shaped by local Nico Madro, which was fantastic. Basically, by the side of the piste, we had a fantastic crowd which got out and could watch everything that was on show.
They'll get two jumps, and the best jump of two will count for their score, and it'll be basically judged on technical difficulty, style. Essentially, you can expect to see pretty much any trick that can be thrown on a table because it's big enough and it's well shaped.
Some of the other guys were doing some switch bio 7s, which was amazing because he just threw himself back and down under again. Switch 1080, that's like going backwards into the ramp doing 3 spins, and this guy did it with true nose mute, so it's amazing.
This year, well actually the whole of last year in the freestyle ski scene, we've seen a lot of double grabs coming on, and the latest one to come out of the scene is the octo grab, which is Charles Gagnier's invention. It's basically a tail grab and a nose grab at the same time, and then you bring your skis together. I would demonstrate it, but I'm not flexible enough, so I can't. for this year, we had 2 runs in the qualifiers, and the best run counted. So each rider got 1 run to lay down a safe trick, and then they can obviously go for it on their second one, assuming they've landed there for their first one. And then we took the top 8 from the field and put them through to a final, and again they had a 2-run final, which worked the same way.
It's just one big jump, and best trick wins the competition.
The Verbier Ride 2007 Big Air finalists, well, the top 3 was really impressive this year. Probably the best level we've ever had. I think Ross Henshaw again, like as in the rails, stood out. His switch 10 was pretty much perfect. I can't really fault it. And then there was Aurélien Fournier, who is a slightly mad Frenchman. He was doing massive switch cork 9s. And they both scored really well. Russ for his style and sort of the textbook execution, and Aurélien for just the size he was doing. Because in big air, the actual amplitude that the rider gets will score quite highly as well.
It was really fun. It was just relaxed, and everybody would do their jump and then go get a Coke or a Mars bar or something. And then in the beginning, I was doing switch 7s, and then I started doing switch 1080s and trying to go as big as I can with them. A couple of the guys were doing big switch 9s and holding their grabs the whole way through, and it looked really nice.
Basically, the judges, well, all of us were having a fight at the end of who should win, and in the end, none of us could actually come out with the proper answer, so we had to kind of split it between the two of them. Because Aurélien was doing switch cork 9 mute grab, but was going probably 10 metres beyond the knuckles, so he was going absolutely massive. And Russ did an absolute textbook switch 10 mute grab and landed. And landed perfectly. But the big air aspect of Aurélien's jump kind of countered the technical and difficult aspect of Russ's jump. So it was really hard to decide who would win. And like I say, in the end we couldn't. So we just split it between the two of them.
I thought the judging was really right because one done more technical jump and the other one more stylish. But like I thought it was correct.
Aurélien Fournier, he went so big, that was crazy. He went after everybody in the landing, and that was style.
In third place, Thomas Verbier, he was doing switch Misty 7s, I think, with a mute grab. And it's quite difficult because you actually go against the way of the kicker. You would throw yourself sort of into the jump, as it were.
Alors les hommes, ils envoyaient vraiment du gros aujourd'hui, c'était vraiment impressionnant. Je pense que les résultats, les résultats étaient bien donnés, c'était correct.
It was the highest level of freestyle skiing that we'd ever seen on a Verbier Ride competition.
In the women's big air, Scottish skier Jacobina Milne-Hume came second with a huge 180, but it was Audrey Favre, a Swiss girl, who finally took out the first place with a huge 540.
Alors ouais, c'est vrai que le niveau des filles, il commence à monter gentiment. On se pousse les unes avec les autres et ça nous fait évoluer, mais l'esprit est super bon, on s'entend bien, c'est super.
The way that the jump was made and constructed, it gave a lot of riders the ability to spend a lot of time in the air. You know, we were seeing like octo grabs, which we hadn't seen before in any ride events, which are really, really styled out.
This year was a big air, but a smooth one. So everybody was able to do what they want without taking big risks.
It was a great event. It was one of the best shows of freestyle that the resort's seen. We had big name riders coming over like Aurélien Fournier, local riders doing really well like Alex Noura, Jackie Bruchet. So it was really good to see an international element of guys who have competed in world-class level events coming to Verbier, enjoying the snowpark, enjoying the kickers that were constructed here.
Là on est sur les pistes au snowpark pour le Verbier Ride, c'est cool, il y a du soleil, des nanas, c'est cool. C'était moi le meilleur.
Yeah, the future of the ride events at the moment, I mean, with the Verbier Ride, for 2008, we're really gonna focus more and more on the freestyle element. We want to try and build this into one of Europe's top freestyle events. So we're really confident of what Tele Verbier can put out for the snowpark. We're confident with the introduction of snow cannons into the snowpark next year. And with the shaping skills of Nico Mardu and the whole infrastructure here, we're very sure we can raise the level again next year. We're also introducing this year the Davos Posters Ride, which is a big mountain freeride event. We've got the summer ride event, which is the Sasfe Ride. Now that event's been going since 2003, and it's starting to build momentum. People are starting to realise that they can go and ski in the summer months. So the Sasfe Ride this year is on the 21st of July. We've got the London Ride, which is based within the Metro Ski and Snowboard Show. That takes place again in October this year. But the best thing to do with the ride events is to check out ridefreesport.com, where you can go and have a look through all the different websites.
The Verbier Ride rocks!
The Verbier Ride 07 was sick.